ja bila kitu, na sitoki bila kitu. Mwanangu azaliwe na kakitu, usitoke bila kitu. Aye, kila siku naishi kama sina kitu, mwishowe miniwe na kakitu, akisitoke bila kitu. I wanna be home with you, I'm putting all my hope in you. And I could be anywhere in the world, but home is where I'm with you. I wanna be home with you, I'm putting all my hope in you. And I could be anywhere in the world, but home is where I'm with you. Baby, usijali.
Hello, hi everyone. Whoever is logged on. If you've logged on successfully, make a comment, just so we know that you're in the live stream with us. Okay, well, I guess we'll get started with whoever's here.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Solomon Wangwe. I am the founder, managing director of Goshen Acquisitions Limited and its wholly owned subsidiary, Grand Acres. Thank you, Ndinda, for tuning in. Karibu sana. I'm super excited about the conversation we're going to have in just a moment. It is now 7:03 p.m. February the 16th of 2023. And it's the first time we're using this tool for our platform. So if there's any glitches, don't be too disturbed. Have plenty of support in places you can't see. We'll make sure that we're going on smoothly. And if you have any questions as we go along the way, comments, please feel free to share them. The other reason I am very excited about this conversation is because we have one of our most favorite customers. Jojo is what we call her. Jojo, karibu sana.
Woo!
Thank you for making time to have this convo again. We didn't have time to give you an opportunity to share much about your experience last week.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone in the office, as well as myself, felt that it was important that people got to hear from you, particularly because of your personal experience, which is hardly ever talked about by companies such as ourselves, and perhaps for good reason. So I'm excited to hear you share your account with Ndinda and everyone else who's gonna tune in if they manage to find the link and join in. But this will also be recorded, I believe, and we're gonna post it later anyway. So thank you again for making time. Karibu sana. Introduce yourself by name, ID number, age, PIN number.
And all the transactions I've had with Goshen Acquisitions. Hello. Thank you for having me again. This is it's always a great time having a conversation with you, Solomon. My name, for those that don't know me, I am Josephine. I go by Jojo. I live in the US. I live in Los Angeles, California right now. And I just love being a part of this community. I was introduced to the Goshen family a few years ago. I got myself out and then got myself right back in and jumped back in with both feet and knees and arms, and I'm staying forever. So yeah, so I'm really happy that we could have this conversation. Like you said, I think it's an important conversation. I think it should be hard. It's the other side of business that, we don't get to talk about a lot. And I think it's important that we know that that exists and how we navigate that when it happens. So I'm here for you. I'm here for the people. I open to share my story. I know some parts of it are a bit embarrassing, but that's what life is about. It's about learning and hearing people's mistakes and knowing what to do when that happens to you. So I'm here for it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, just to set it up real quick, as the thumbnail teased about the conversation today, it said that you asked for a refund.
Yeah.
Which is like the worst thing for us as service providers, because then you get into all sorts of self-reflection, some of which is not positive, especially if you don't have a good feedback loop with the customer that you're serving to understand why they're asking for a refund. But this has to do with your purchase of AcaciaCove, half acres, super prime, residential, nicest part of Karyonga, right next to Karyonga Dam, which we're so excited about. And then you dumped us. So basically, just let everyone know the circumstances around that, what informed your decision, and just be as honest as possible, because there's also learnings for us there. And I'm sure others who listen or watch this video will pick a thing or two about their own experiences.
Well, so to begin with, well, I was introduced to AcaciaCove and Goshen acquisition back in when was that? When was that Knads was buying?
2020.
Was it 2020?
Imagine that, July, I think it was.
My gosh, in July 2020, right?
COVID shut down here.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
So my friend tells me, actually, no, I think it was 2019 that I learned about it. Because I think maybe I learned just as soon as you guys were doing pre-selling.
Yeah, so we sort of teased we were working on a new project after the first one we did with your lovely group of Kenyan ladies in the US.
Yes.
Except we didn't launch our sales until 2020.
Okay.
And
so
then
it
we
must
had
have been.
Yes, we had a big Facebook live event specifically for the Knads ladies in July.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's maybe a little prior to just the Knads live. I knew about it. I learned about it. And, I have friends that know people. So I was, letting on it quite early on. I was told, oh my gosh, this is something you have to purchase. My friend Washa just told me this is a great opportunity. Please get it on it now. And at the time, like I think I've mentioned before in my Facebook post, I've told people I was just at a very different place in my life. I was never really interested in going back home. I was never interested in investing back in Kenya. I had this attitude that I thought it was a waste of time. I thought it was a waste of money. I thought it was risky. It was a very risky investment because that's all I had. And so I didn't trust the process. I didn't trust the people. I didn't see the value in it, really. And my friend just told me, just buy. This is a great opportunity. It's Nanyuki. Nanyuki is growing. AcaciaCove is wonderful. The company we're using, Goshen Acquisitions, obviously, what they have done for us. We've already purchased through them. This is a new project. Great development. Like, she really did not see any reason why I'm not jumping up and down trying to get in. And so I said, okay, well, I mean, at this time, I always like to use this phrase. I say, sometimes I ride on people's faith where I don't see it, for myself, but they believe in it so much that I say, you know what, I'm literally going to ride on your faith on this one. And so that's what I did.
And
So,
how long had it been since you left Kenya to resettle in the US at this point?
So this is because I came to the US in 2001. So we're talking some 20 years, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I've been in the US since 2001. Long time, you know, long time.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, now that I think about it, I think it's actually a bit of a shame that all this time I haven't really.
Not at all. I mean,
but you know what? Everybody's time is different. I like to say everybody wasn't my time. My mind was not renewed to that degree of knowing how important it is to invest in Kenya. And so anyway, so my friend told me about it, and I was like, okay, if you say so, so be it. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna purchase the half acre and put my deposit down, and I'm gonna call it a day, and let's see what pans out, right? So I mean, obviously entering into it, there was not 100% confidence. And I think in retrospect, I think that informed my later decision to pull out, because, you know, when you're doing it because of someone else, you're not in it for you 100%. And then it's very easy to believe a lie, you know, when things don't pan out the way they were expected to pan out.
Okay.
And so I think that's what happened to me. So I went ahead and purchased, and I was excited. And I was more excited for what I showed. It was more like, okay.
You paid a deposit for a piece of land.
Yeah.
You were excited for your friend.
Yes, I think I was more excited for her. Like, okay, I was able to do it, Washer, you know? Not so much of I'm able to make a deposit for a piece of land that is very coveted at this point, and I had no idea. I just had no idea how important it was, and how just, you know, what a great opportunity was for me that she had actually brought that to my attention. So yeah, so I went ahead and put a deposit.
Okay.
Yes. And then obviously, like we know, AcaciaCove has gone through the ringer, you know.
Yes.
And you can talk about that a little bit. How?
Yeah. So at this point, man, I think it was about 3 months after we had received your deposit. 3 or 4 months, we received a lot of resistance from the county authority on approvals for change of use and subdivision, which is what we were in the process of doing. And typically when we launch projects for sale to our customer base before we have approvals and ready transferable titles, we try as much as possible to ensure that your deposit funds for your specific purchase are held in escrow by an advocate. In this case, our advocate, AMM, were holding the escrow account that all your funds were deposited into, because that way your funds are safe while we wait. There was a bit of an indefinite waiting period at that point. And the last thing you want to do as a customer is ask for your funds for whatever reason, which is indeed your right to. The sale agreement does give you the right to rescind your agreement or transaction, provided certain things are fulfilled. And therefore, we just felt it safe. It's something we've always practiced, especially when we're pre-selling, that funds sit in escrow. And so at that point, we had resistance from the county, and we updated everyone that we're having challenges getting approvals. And the challenges were based on just the usual nonsense. As I said before, we have to be candid about these things. A bribe was asked for. We said no. They frustrated us. And then we crossed the year into 2021.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think at that point is when you sent out, Goshen sent out an email explaining what was going on and why the holdup. And as it just happened, I had another opportunity for purchase of land. So now, with the beginning of this, now I'm open to hearing more, and so this other opportunity comes along around maybe I think January, February, when you guys sent out the email, and it coincided with this. And so as I'm thinking about this other opportunity, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I do not have the money to buy it, to put another deposit on a different land. And here comes Goshen's email saying, hey, investors, this is what's going on. And, if you apologize that it had taken so long, and you gave us a chance, an option, rather, I would say, to get a refund if we so wanted. And I'm thinking, oh, baloney. They're just bullshitting us. They're just trying to, to keep us just waiting. And I'm thinking, there's no way. But here I am, considering that, what, if they're offering the option, I might as well take it. Because as you remember, as I said, it wasn't something I was too excited about to start with, just lack of knowledge, And this other thing, now my mind has already developed into, oh, well, investing in Kenya is a thing. And so this other opportunity has come across for me. And I'm like, light bulb moment. I'm like, why don't I take this money from Goshen and try, get it back, and then buy this other land in Malindi? And so the funny thing is that I didn't even sit for long with that email. I up until today, like later after I had done this, is when I said, why didn't I even think, take some time to really consider? I never make decisions quickly. I will, if it's a big decision, especially if it involves a lot of money, it's something I will sit with it. Maybe I'll sleep on it for a night or two, pray about it, really check inside myself how I feel. No, not this one. It's just like, okay, I'm going for it. Didn't even consult Washo, didn't even ask the very person that had,
right, that introduced you to...
Because I know for sure, had I asked Washo, she would be like, absolutely not. Are you out of your mind? And so I actually sent an email back. I responded and I said, well, you know what? I would like my refund back, And I remember as soon as I sent that email, I sat and I said, Jojo, who are you kidding? Like, this is Kenya. I mean, this is Kenya. Like, seriously? Do you think that there is a possibility whatsoever that you're going to get your money back?
Wow.
I said, there is no way. There is no way. And, if I can just give an example of why I thought the way I thought. And I think I've shared the story before. I said, the last time after I'd been to the US for probably about 2 or 3 years, I went back to Kenya. And I had gone to a store to purchase a store in Nairobi, I think Moi Avenue somewhere. We're walking, and I entered a store to purchase some shoes, right? So I found some shoes that I liked, and I bought them. And while still in the store, my family came in, and I was showing them the shoes that I just bought, and they laughed. They said, those are not cool shoes. Apparently I was not fashion forward back in the day. So, and so I said, okay, well, I guess I'm not gonna take them. I'll probably exchange it for someone. So I'm still in the store, mind you, right? I tell the storekeeper, seller, shop, whatever. I say, hey, I think I'm not gonna get the shoes anymore. I will trade them for something different. And she gives me this really strange look, like, okay. I said, can I exchange this, or can I take, let me return this, get a different pair of shoes? And she says, no. I'm like, why? She said, we don't do refunds. I say, well, I haven't even left the store. I am in the store. I have not gone anywhere. And at this point, I'm actually asking for an exchange. Like, take this, let me take another shoe, do an exchange, even exchange. She says, no, that doesn't happen. Once you buy, you buy. You've bought, and that's it. It's on you. If you want to buy another shoe, buy another shoe. And so I think that experience really informed how I thought about Kenya and exchanges and refunds from that point forward, you know. So it's just this attitude that I just knew, like, refunds just do not happen in Kenya. And so here I am, you know, all these years later, that's exactly how I still think. And this is not pocket change we're talking about, you know. This is not easy. It's not just, you know, $20, $30 here. It's a whole half an acre deposit, you know. Contracts have been written, everything's been done. It's just paying the other amount. And here I am thinking I might get my refund. And so I said, no, I mean, it's just not gonna happen. But I said, oh well, let me try and see. And in my head I thought, if at all they give me back my refund, it's probably gonna take maybe like 2 years. I know they're gonna, you know, have me going back and forth, excuses here, produce this, produce that, give us evidence, you know, just really delaying the whole process and making it absolutely difficult for me to give up. And so I said, oh well. So I sent the email and I was like, you know what, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's okay. You know, you know, in Kenya, you send an email and escorted it with prayers, you know?
Right.
Oh my God, you know how hard I work. And these people, I know they're going to cheat me out of my money, but God, please,
That's
you know, do something.
Yeah.
And so, I sent my email, and believe it or not, I think it was literally within, I think it was like 2 hours or something, I get a response back, and it says, thank you for being our customer, and blah, blah, blah. I don't remember exactly what it said, but basically said, we will be happy. I think that's the word you use. We will be happy to return to give you back your refund. If you can just furnish us with the details of your account. And I'm like, wait, what is happening right now? Like, who are those people? Like, this is not right. This is not how it's supposed to be. This is how I would love it to be, but this is not how it's supposed to be, you know? And they say, furnish us. And I'm thinking, okay. So I'm getting excited, but I'm like, okay, just chill, you know, until the money is in your account. Now, anything could happen. And so I was like, okay, fine. So I give the details of the account. I don't remember if it took me days or whatever. But it wasn't 24 hours after I responded that the money was back in my US account.
Yep.
I'm looking at my account. I'm like, wait, this is a refund from Goshen. Mind blown. Mind completely blown.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that I had 2 very distinct emotions at that point. I had complete joy that I had money back in my account.
Of course.
Actually, more than 2 emotions. Complete joy. Yeah. Disbelief that this had actually happened. And then I was like, I screwed up. At that point is when I realized, okay, these guys are legit. And I was like, I just screwed myself over. I was like, I just screwed
really? At that
point, I knew. I was like, okay, if they can return my money, then these guys are legit. And I knew, shit, I probably should have not pulled the rug. I should not have done that. Because at that point, you just proved to me that, okay, you guys were legit, you know? And so before I go on, I want you to explain, like, how, like talk about escrow and how that was possible, and how you guys could pull that, especially because you hadn't sent just an email to just me, but to, I believe, all the investors, which means that if all of us asked for that refund, then you had the ability to return that money.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of using the escrow account, right? So, I mean, the funds had been sitting there for all those months. When you put funds in escrow, the lawyer who operates the escrow account issues what is called a professional undertaking. It's a legal term for a promissory note, which basically stipulates the conditions under which and only which he will release funds from that account. And if he violates that promise, then his license to practice is on the line, right? So it's a serious thing for an advocate to give you a professional undertaking is a serious thing, because his practice is on the line. And so our advocate at the time was, and I give him credit for being responsive and nimble. We go through a lot of pains to identify the right legal professionals to work with, because let me just say, we've kissed a lot of frogs to find our princesses, right?
Yeah.
And we also made sure to keep tabs. Every month we would get statements from the advocate showing the funds were still there, how much more had been added into the escrow. So it's when you do things right, it is possible. And that's the whole reason why escrow accounts were created, if you will. So that should anything happen that requires annulment of the transaction or refunds, you're not, fighting and with or begging us to give you your money back, because it's your money. I mean,
yeah.
The advocate understands he has received instructions from the client that they want their money back. He said, okay, we are sad to see you go. Like I said, it's a terrible feeling every time we have someone ask for a refund, because then we have to do an internal audit. What have we done wrong? Cause this person to not want to complete their transaction with us. And it's not always that we've done anything wrong, right? Sometimes life happens, something else happens that has greater priority in their lives, medical emergency. That's happened before. And so it's just one of those situations that we prefer not to deal with, because then there's a possibility that we drop the ball somewhere.
Yeah.
In this case, it was, we've been waiting months for approvals that should have taken 90 days. We've crossed from 1 year to the next. And there has been no progress towards providing your title deed. And it's not our fault. It was a third-party situation. Nevertheless, you feel the way you do. Understandably, there's a lot of mistrust in the industry because of mistakes that have been made. There's a lot of abuse. I know, honestly, I don't know anyone else who has had a good experience obtaining refunds in general in the country, in the industry.
Yeah.
And so I, as a founder and managing director, which is a fancy name for Chief Kazi ya Mkono, the buck stops with me, right? So I'm very keen to make sure that we do things differently, we do things right. And that's why it was possible to have your refund within 24 hours of your request. It's very simple. It's not rocket science, because your money
it feels like rocket science to me. I have to be honest with you. That feels like it felt, I know, like, as you explained, standard practice, that's how it's supposed to be. We should be able, as customers, to be able to get our refunds back. But it has not been the case. It has not been the case, and I think you changed the game for us, and I think you're setting a standard that has been unprecedented before, and I commend you for that. I think it's a huge change in how business has operated prior to this in Kenya. And that's what I'm so big on customer service. I'm so big on what you're doing as a company, because for me, that's what makes the difference. I can buy land from anyone.
True.
So there's so many sellers. There's so many
Everyone
land sellers.
is selling.
Everywhere I turn, there's people selling land, and they're good people. I mean, not to call anyone out. They're good people, and they're doing good business. But it's the extra mile, those business practices that have been so unfamiliar to us in Kenya, that we know of them here in the US.
I was gonna say, to be honest, the only reason Goshen Acquisitions and Grand Acres does a lot of the things we do is because of my own experience living and working in the US for 11 years. Now, as an ex-diasporan, I also have I believe I have an empathy as well. So, and having experienced the quality of customer care and customer service in the US, for me, it's second nature as well. And that's something we take for granted. But yeah, you're right. For those of you who are used to a certain standard treatment for a customer, it can be, Kenya can be a shock.
Absolutely. It can be. And then to top it off, people, I mean, this was the best part for me. So now, the money's back in my account. I've gone through the shock period. I'm excited. I'm thinking, okay, this is for real. It happened. They actually refunded my money. And then I think at the time, just it was, within a week or so, I was actually in Kenya, and I just felt, called to just say a thank you. I was really touched by how your office had conducted the whole refund transaction. And so I sent you a text and I said, hey, I just want to say thank you. You guys, it was great. It happened very quickly. It was unexpected. I'm very impressed, and just saying thank you.
Yeah.
And then in my head, I'm thinking, I'm sure they'll hate me over there. I'm not as good customers that go through with the whole transactions. I'm the ones that, do not believe and pulled out. And so I'm thinking, damn it, I didn't even expect a response, right? I'm just saying, let me just end it well. Let me just say thank you. You never know, tomorrow you might have something I might want. And so I sent this text to you. That time we've never met. I don't know you. I've just heard of you, the Solomon Wangwe. Right. And you respond in the most amicable, most beautiful way. You say, oh, thank you, Jojo. It's nice to have you as customer. And please, you're in Kenya, Kuja, come to our offices. We like to meet our customers. Come and have chai on us and this and this. And it was just a really, really open invitation. Right? And I'm thinking,
I'm actually, I was just, as you're sharing that, I was checking my WhatsApp, and it was April 11th.
It was April 11th. Okay.
April 11th, 2022.
Yeah.
Where I was just sharing that I received communication from council that you've decided to rescind your AcaciaCove purchase, but I wasn't in copy. And as always, this is how we're supposed to respond regardless of our emotions. I said, I thank you for your interest, engagement, and outreached patience throughout this unforeseen and long delayed title deed processing for AcaciaCove partners. My team and I wish you all success in your future endeavors and remain at your service.
Right.
And then you sent a long response. Yes, and I did say welcome home and enjoy your brief stay. If I have time, my team and I would love to meet you in person and buy you a coffee before you return.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, why not? It's not. We hadn't done anything wrong. Neither had you. So why would we hate you?
I don't know, because I'm returning it. I'm like saying I don't want I don't want the piece of land anymore. I don't know. It's just, I think there's just like some kind of energy that goes with, I felt like I
Yeah,
disappointed the team. I felt like I was, part of it. I just don't like to pull out of things. I
hear you.
love to be
I hear you.
committed to something.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I
we were
was.
crushed. I'll be honest, we were crushed
Mm.
that you pulled out.
Oh,
But
I'm
but
sorry.
we understood you were exercising your contractual rights too.
Mhm.
And again, your funds were in escrow as they are supposed to be. And so it was painless, and that avoids all the drama that comes along with not being able to respond to your instructions had we not done the right thing in the first place. So
Mhm.
it was going to be nothing but good blood uh,
Mm.
going forward. But yeah, we were sad that you opted to take your refund.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so it was, I mean, now that I think about it, it was a lesson learned. And I think you never know, maybe it needed to happen.
Mhm.
I paid for it dearly, though. Oh God, I paid for it dearly. People, please, if I'm to give any advice whatsoever, if you buy from Goshen, just stick to it. Just stick to it to the end, because I paid for it dearly.
Hmm.
And oh God, because can I tell the story how I paid for it dearly?
Sure.
Well, so that happened. I got my refund. You know, uh, ended it well. I never was able to come for the tea at that time. I think I got busy. I was so busy in Kenya. So I said, okay, I'll take a rain check for whatever next time. Whoever knows. I didn't even know I'd ever meet you again or ever purchase from you again. I had no idea, that would happen. And so fast forward 2 years, last December, I come to
Yep.
Kenya and had no prior plans of meeting you. It was not in the plans. I was coming to Kenya for an entirely different event and occasion, but I just happened to be with my friend Washo, who after we're done what we're done in Malindi said, hey, why don't we I'm doing this thing with Goshen. I'm gonna go to the site visits that of the lands that they have and show Diaspora, because I'm here now, on behalf of Diaspora, show them. And she's like, you're coming with me. Washo doesn't give you a choice. She said, Jojo, you're coming with me. She said, don't plan anything for the next 4 days. You're coming with me. And I'm like, okay, well, good thing I didn't have any solid plans for that time. I was just gonna go hang out with my family. So I said, fine, sure. And so we go to AcaciaCove in Nanyuki.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. And Solomon, have you
Yeah.
ever, okay, this is supposed to be a joyous moment, and it was a joyous moment. But let me tell you, the kiwaru that was in my throat when I saw what I had given up, I said, Jojo, will you ever recover from this? So we drive in, first of all, go through the gate, which is unbelievable. The fencing, just the area itself. I mean, just the feel of it. And there's like tractors clearing the road. And I'm like, okay, something's happening here, This is for real. This is legit land. And I'm with Washo and she's excited. The title deeds are out and she got her piece of land. And I'm feeling like a fraud here. I'm like, what? Like this? I was supposed to be a part of this. I was supposed to be a part of announcing, holding my title deed up. And here I am. This is the very land that I gave up, And I'm like, okay.
Right.
I literally, okay, truth be told, I had to stop for a moment, go inside of myself and say, okay, Jojo, this is not about you. You're going to be here. You're going to be happy for our show. okay? Because this is what we're doing. Washo, but nobody told me to return, my land. This decision, I made it all by myself. So I'm taking responsibility. I'm taking the pain. It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll be fine, right? And I'd say, I'm here to be happy for Washo and do whatever needs to be done. We're going to talk about the land. It's fine. So we go in, and people, you've seen the video. If you haven't seen the video, so we're walking around and you're explaining what AcaciaCove and where it's at, and we're seeing the Karyonga Dam and blah, blah, blah. We go to Washo's land, and, she's excited. I'm happy for her. It's great. And as I'm standing on Washo's land, I just feel I belong here. At that moment, I just had this overwhelming feeling that to be honest, I almost felt like I still have my land. I felt like I still have it. And I'm like, okay, that cannot be possible. I don't have it. I gave it up.
Right.
And I tell Washo, I said, I want my land back. And she said, let's ask Solomon, So that's what we came to you, and we say, hey, we're like, Solomon, what can I do? I want my land. That time the lands have quadrupled in price, right?
Right. Yeah.
Literally. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. But I had such a strong, overwhelming desire. I knew this was it for me. And I knew no matter what, I'm just going to purchase it. And so, oh God, this is how you know when the universe is really working in your favor. So we come to you and ask you, what's available, blah, blah, blah. And you tell me the area that we had chosen where Washo is close to the dam. Because that's, I was in on the first, dips. Yeah. So I had right where the Karyonga Dam is.
Yeah, the dam.
Really, I had a really prime place, right? Yeah. And said that whole area is sold out. And I think the other pieces that were farther out are the ones that were available, right?
Yep.
And so you say, let me make some phone calls and find out what's available, blah, blah, blah. And then we're going to go and look at and see what's available. So you make this phone call, and then what happens?
Well, we checked with the sales team, because I think you wanted yours back.
Yes.
It was opposite Washo's, but on the other side of the dam.
On the other side, yeah.
And honestly, I knew you were dam fronting, and those were the first ones to go. So I wasn't very confident that. In fact, in my mind, I was like, this thing is not available. But
yeah.
Just
hold
ask.
on 1 second. Uh-huh.
And, and lo and behold, your specific parcel was still available, shockingly. Yeah, as fate would have it, it seems like it was still waiting for you.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that. I remember when you told me, you know, it's so funny because you are so calm waters. You never get overly excited, and it's sometimes
it just doesn't show outside. It's always on internal. If you could see what was happening inside me, it was.
Oh, you jumping? You're the little kid jumping inside, because you're like this the most calmest. You're like, Jojo, actually, your land is still available, and I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Are you serious? And they say, yeah. Shockingly, for some reason, we haven't sold it. And so I asked to walk over to that piece of land, and I step on it. And I feel complete. Just complete. Me and the land became one at that point, and I'm looking over at Mount Kenya, and behind me is Karyonga, and beside me is Washo, just screaming, excited for me. And there was just such a moment of completion. It's where full circle, I think you'd call it. It's just a moment of such full circle. And I'm like, this is my land, Right. And at the moment, I just told you, I want it back.
Yes.
You're like, okay, we'll send you the paperwork.
someone just asked a question on WhatsApp. They say, why did Jojo want the land back? What made you want it back so badly that you could pay even though the price had tripled?
I think honestly, that's what I say. As soon as I stepped on that land, there's something about seeing something live, feeling the land, feeling the environment, seeing what is happening, now understanding the value of it, because I think before, previous to that, I didn't understand the value of it. Remember, I was just buying land. You know how we do it in Diaspora? We have all these people come, they tell us, oh, buy here, buy here, buy here, and we just pay, like whatever. So that's how I purchased Acacia. It was like, okay, someone's bugging me to piece. Who cares, I have an affinity to Nanyuki because my dad used to work at the airbase in Nanyuki, in Laikipia, and so I have some kind of affinity to it, but nothing, no roots, nothing that would really make me believe in wanting to purchase this and pay for it. But as soon as I got there, I could see myself there. I could see my home. I literally saw it. And it just felt I belonged. And that point, I knew I'm paying for it. I said, because see, this is the thing I said, and I think in that video I said, if there's one thing that's guaranteed, land in Kenya increases value. You can bet on it. I know some people say, oh, it's dead assets. It is not dead assets at all. Because today, if I bought it, tomorrow I sell it, I'm going to sell it for probably $1 million shillings more next year. It's just the value. And today, that day was the cheapest I could get it, to be honest. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a one thing that we sort of get tired of saying, because also we have a vested interest in pushing that narrative, obviously, where the guy is selling.
Yeah.
So we want to push that message, and then people, understandably, people get suspect about those. But again, you could do your own research and confirm the numbers. Since 1963, land in Kenya has been on an upward trajectory. It's never dropped. You do have periods where it stagnates a bit, but land has never lost value. But to be fair to those who talk about dead assets, I know what they're referring to is that it's not doing for you anything meaningful while you're holding, besides its latent value appreciating.
Yes.
And there's good argument to that. How much of your money should you have tied up in hard immovable assets like land as opposed to income generating ones? That's a fair discussion to have. But today is the cheapest land ever will be. That's been the mantra for decades.
I believe so. I believe so. And so at that point, and I think for me it was just a realization that, okay, I'd screwed up. No point trying to screw up again, Like if I don't do it right now, then when? Did I believe strongly enough in it? Yes, enough to pay a lot for it. Sure, I did. Was it worth it? Like it felt a lot compared to how much I'd gotten it before, but as far as the value of it, the market value of it at the time, it didn't feel like it was unfair. It was the market price. It was the going market price. And had I not bought it before and known about it this time, it still felt like a fair market price. Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's why, to answer the person's questions, that's what, to me, all things considered, it was a right market price at this point, given, what's going on in Nanyuki right now, and how valuable land in Nanyuki. And I mean, and you're saying that I'm thinking all these things. I'm saying the tractors clearing the road. I'm like, that's money. That's price going up. As you increase the value in the land, the prices will go up automatically.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is why I in particular like for all our customers, as much as it's possible, to do site visits. Obviously, it's difficult if you're in the diaspora.
Yes.
Because there's something about planting your feet on the ground, smelling the air. feeling the energy,
Yes, yes.
and those are X factors that documents will not tell you when you do your typical due diligence.
100%. There's just something that cannot be put in paper. That
Yeah,
when you step on that land,
yeah,
when you're in it, there's just something. And I feel like it gives you a faith in God that we don't even have, when someone's just showing you papers and maps and
right,
renderings and all that. When you're in it, it's like, how God said, whatever lands you step on, I will give to you. That's the feeling. It's like, okay, I've stepped on it now, so it is mine, so be it.
absolutely.
And it was an easy decision for me. I felt like it was a second chance. I felt like I got a second chance, and I was not about to screw over my second chance.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
happy to hear you say that. Yeah, so I'll give you it's not exactly a secret, but it's something that we know in the office. It's why we like for people to do site visits,
Yeah.
even when it's people being sent by family or friends to look on their behalf.
Mm-hmm.
98% of the time, after the site visit, it's a yes. The only question is how many.
Yes.
Usually,
Yes.
so if they were coming knowing that they were buying after the site visit, it's like, okay, how many more can I?
Yes. Absolutely.
Because there's something about experiencing the site. I've shared this before in some of our content that some of the some of the time I make a decision to buy and invest in a piece of land that we're gonna develop and resell,
Mm-hmm.
because we only sell what we own. We're not agents or brokers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at some point we have to be buying.
Yeah.
So very often I'm in your shoes when I'm scouting land, and
Mm.
that is responsible for, I want to say maybe 60% of my decision is how do I feel? Does the place make me feel at home? Do I feel like I fit
Yeah.
in? Do I belong?
Yes.
The place will speak to you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're out there considering land investment, a word of warning: if you're not too if you don't like us very much as a land seller, uh,
Mm-hmm.
for a site visit, chances 98% of the time you're gonna buy. So if you don't want to buy, don't come for a site visit.
That's true, because as soon as you step on that land, it speaks for itself. It
Awesome.
really speaks for itself. It's just, it speaks for itself. And you have no choice but to say yes. Yeah, it was so, I mean, my whole experience, I must say, my whole experience was just absolutely beautiful, and I speak so much of Goshen and just how great you guys are, that people ask me if I'm a broker, if I'm being paid for this. And I'm like, no, I'm not being paid for it. We can be honest here. It's just when you find something good, when you find something good, you can't keep it to yourself. It's you want to share it, you just
Yes.
it's not it just bubbles out of me. I can't keep it to myself, because I know there's there's so many people like me, so many people that are still holding on to the belief that Kenya is a scam. Land
Yeah.
owning in Kenya is a complete scam. It belongs to certain people and not to everybody. There's so
Yeah.
many of us that have been cheated out of our hard-earned money. It just, the whole process, it brings out this trepidation, this anxiety that, what, I'm not touching that. I'm not doing that. I'm not, too many scams, too many, sad stories, and so,
Understandable.
and so when you come across people that change that for you, I can't help but talk about it. I can't help but
We are
talk about it.
so, that's
You
like
restored my faith, and I will say it. I'll say
yeah.
it again and again and again. I'm proud to be in the Grand Acres family. I'm really proud. I wear my hat so proudly.
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be, and I would love for people to experience that. You can buy land from anyone, but like I said, I was telling my friend the other day, I say, actually, they pointed that out. I talked about my story. We were having breakfast and I was talking about my story, and I was telling them that one thing I realized is that Solomon doesn't sell land. He sells customer service. Like, someone will never tell you buy this and buy. No, he'll just talk about the land. He'll talk about other things. Before you know it, you're asking him how much for this one, And the person I was talking to, they said, you know what? That's exactly what you were doing right now. Because they ended up asking me how much is, I think it was Elementator we're talking about, and they asked me how much is Elementator. Without me having to tell them that you're selling, just me talking about my experience, And I feel like that's what Goshen does. Goshen just presents, you're just such a customer service company, and in the midst of making people's dreams come true, they buy land, they become landowners. So I'm so grateful to have
I hope
known
my staff
you.
are listening to that. That's the miraculous essence that we need to bottle and sell. But I'm so grateful to hear you say that, and honored that you say that. And yes, we're not paying you to do that, which is another reason we're grateful that you'd make time to have this conversation. And I know many others would probably feel the same way. I know we're running out of time. We have about 4 minutes left, but I just wanted to talk about something, because this ties into the loop, the journey for our customers, because this is what we really care about at the end of the day, is that we're settling people and creating communities, right? That's really what we're doing. We're bringing communities together. In fact, all our customers, we call them at the office Greater Gains Community. You're part of the Goshen Acquisitions and Grand Acres family. And so your relationship with us does not end when you buy the land. There's a lot more. And that has to do with you settling. And I see a question from Christopher Jamal from the UK, Britain. He says, we've been following you silently for some time, and never, or maybe we've missed a storyline or recap of clients who have invested in your lands and settled or done this and that. Is there such a recap of such? That's a great question, Christopher Jamal, and thank you for asking it. I mean, we probably should make a point of creating content, testimonials that would demonstrate this. To some degree. I will say, for the longest time, maybe for the 7 or 8 of the last 11 years we've been doing this in Kenya, most of our sites, our land, because we are land sellers, we're not property developers. There's a difference. You might consider us land developers, because we're in the business of identifying unique pieces of land, acquiring it, making improvements to it, subdividing, getting approvals, and so on, just so that the title deed has meaning. It's not just a clean title. There's a lot of stuff that goes behind that, as Jojo and Washu talked about in other videos. But beyond that, what we're really keen on is for you to use the space. Ideally, if you made a site visit, you saw that in your future. And so what can we do in the meantime to help you put your roots in the ground and settle? And I'd say for the last 3 years, actually since AcaciaCove is the first project where we went the full-blown master plan development way to provide all the services. It took us almost 3 years to get approvals, during which Jojo dumped us. Thankfully, she's back. And we're looking forward to seeing what that journey looks like in the next few months to a couple of years, as we finish the value addition, so that you can settle immediately. And we'll share those experiences as well, as much as people are comfortable letting us do that, because again, these are private situations for all our customers. So in as much as Jojo or Washu or any other one of our precious customers would allow us to document that for you, Chris, we will be sure to do so. So, having said that, I just want to be cognizant of the time. It's 6 seconds to 60 minutes since we started. Thank you so much, Jojo, for making time to tell your story. It's
Absolutely.
hardly ever talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Mad respect to you for being brave enough to trust us in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
We don't take it for granted. It's a privilege. Like you said, everyone is selling land. Why would you buy from us?
Mm-hmm.
We count it a sacred privilege to be able to serve your investment needs as well as all our customers. So thank you for that. Thank you for coming back, even though you dumped us. We look forward to.
I paid a hefty price, but it's well, it's all good.
We look forward to borrowing wine from you, as Caroline Mutoko said. She didn't want neighbors who borrow salt, only those who have wine.
Okay, I'll have plenty of wine. I'm actually I'm an amateur wine connoisseur, but I do love my wine. So yeah, there'll be plenty of wine in my wine pantry. That's for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much. And so I'll let you have the parting shot for all your loved ones, friends, and family who might be sitting on the fence about investing in Kenya, not even necessarily buying from us. This is not an ad. Just to reiterate, again, thank you for having this, honest conversation. But for friends and family, your loved ones, Kenyans out there in the diaspora like you, what would you say to them as we close?
So I would say that in Africa in general is transforming and is changing. And I think we have a responsibility to be a part of the change that we want to see. And I'm always a believer that if you own something, your stakes are higher. If you have put money into a land in Kenya and Africa, then you're more likely to support the growth and the change of that place for the betterment of yourself, for your family, and everybody around you. And so I say there's no place better than home, to be honest. We've been out here and there's great things out here. I've been in the US. I'm still here. I haven't gone back home. So which means there's still a lot of things I appreciate here in Kenya, here in the US. But in the same mind, do not neglect where we came from. There's something that Kenya gives you that you cannot find in the US. And we know that 100% sure. I mean, it's given. And it's great because at this time, Kenya is opening up in such a beautiful way. I'll be part of, the tour. We visited some places to eat, and I can never stop talking about Cultiva. That's great organic restaurant that had, oh my gosh. Oh, I can't wait to come back for that food.
You make me hungry.
I know, but it's just Kenya is opening up in such a beautiful way. And this is the time for us to go in, Before, like, I think it's Washa that said, before we were colonized and things were taken away from us, now we can allow people to come and take our lands again, because this is not colonization. It's giving to the Chinese. It's given to other foreigners. We have an opportunity to actually take back our lands. And I would encourage anyone, please go for it. Do it. There's just such a pride and satisfaction and joy when you know that you have your own. Your children will have their own. I am a big believer in creating an option for my kids to choose where to live, whether they want to live here or they want to live in Kenya. And I tell everyone, talk to people, find who's selling. You have Goshen, you have other great companies out there. It's your choice. Like you say, you don't have to go through Goshen if you don't want to. But by all means, please, let's go back to Kenya. Let's build our land. Let's build our people. Let's be what we want to see. There's so much power in us coming together and doing that. And so I'm so happy that, I mean, the last just 1 year or so, I've been able to purchase, quite a bit, and I'm not stopping. It's just the beginning. Now I'm thinking of retirement in Kenya, which had never crossed my mind, but that's where I'm at, and I'm excited. I'm really, really, really excited. So thank you for providing the opportunity. Thank you. I said you're an answered prayer to us, because I can be rest assured. I feel safe. I feel safe investing through you, to be honest, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you. That's for such kind words. And we remain available for the rest of the journey. And in case you're out there in the diaspora like Jojo, should we be so fortunate as to be part of your investment journey back home, because we need you all to invest back home. It's your home. I tell people one of the most patriotic things you can do as a Kenyan is own land in Kenya.
Absolutely.
Own a piece of your own country.
Yes.
And we'd be honored to facilitate that for you. Check us out, our website, www.grandeacres.co.ke. You can reach us on WhatsApp at 0700010001. The number's on the screen. Again, that's 0700010001. You can call the same number if you want to talk to someone as opposed to messaging on WhatsApp. You can also email us. If you get to our website, you can enter your details, and we'll be happy to reach out and see how best we can be part of your investment journey and help you own land in Kenya. Thank you all for tuning in, for watching this. Share it with your friends and family, only the ones you like. And all the best to you out there. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Solomon. Always a pleasure to talk with you.
Karibu.
Okay.
Chatsu.
Sawa. Bye, everyone.
Hapa nilikuja bila kitu na sitoki bila kitu, mwanangu azaliwe na kakitu, usitoke bila kitu. Kila siku naishi kama sina kitu, mishowe miliwe na kakitu, akisitoke bila kitu. I wanna be home with you, I'm calling on my home.